Hi everybody, Brienne here from Pixite, and today I'm going to be coloring from a new book in Marvel, and I'm going to be coloring the Avengers WandaVision. So I'm just going to go in there, and I kind of already thought about coloring this one here, but there are a few really cool ones in here to color. I like them all, but I'm going to color this one today. So kind of pre-chosen palette kind of pops up for you. Wanda, she's red, I believe. So we're gonna use the reds in there possibly, but we could also go and grab another palette. I actually kind of like the heroic palette for this. Okay, so let's do the heroic palette, if I can talk. So I'm just going to actually grab my metallic fill, and I'm just gonna fill in her costume. Actually, you know what? In this case, no, I'll fill and then I'll just go over the other areas with the marker. That's what I'll do. There's a lot of small detailed areas in here. So I'll bring out my marker. As long as I can get my shading with this a little bit more easily. Built-in shading with the metallic tool. I've actually used it a couple of times now, I believe, in my Marvel tutorials. And when you layer, you won't notice the metallic kind of look to it all. I think I might give her more of a crown though, instead of doing the red topper hat or topper crown, sorry. So I'm gonna go to my marker now, and I'm just gonna put it on freehand. And I'm just going to make sure that my opacity is all the way up. I'm gonna color it in. Add some shading in some areas, and then go over it with the lighter color. If you want to get that layered marker look, you have to play with the opacity. I've also used the marker quite a bit in my Marvel colorings. It's a really awesome tool for coloring the comic style stuff. If you want to give it a try, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So that's all I'm doing right now. I need my opacity up to actually get that coverage. Then after the coverage is there, it's really cool the way that when you color a comic book style piece, you get to see the way that they draw it up close, and they have a lot of talent. There's a lot of lines and a lot of detail that you don't really pay attention to when it's already colored in. So I think that's really, really cool to be able to see it up close. So I'm just coloring in the whole costume red. Mostly. I'm gonna add highlights and stuff later, but I always like getting my base color color down. Depending, sometimes it's colors. In this case, it's different shades of red. I'm not too worried about going outside the lines because I still need to color out there, so it's not a huge deal. I might actually leave the base of her pants white. Up here, I was thinking about doing more of like a yellow crown. I do believe it is supposed to be red though. Yeah, maybe we'll stick with the red, try to stick with the true colors. I can add a little bit of yellow detail in it for sparkle or glitter or whatnot. I haven't colored the face yet, so I'm not concerned about going out of the lines or anything like that. I'm just kind of wanting to get the crown filled in because it's a very kind of intricate area. It's a lot quicker to just fill it like this than to use the fill tool because there's so many little areas to fill. Okay. Then I'm going to go to, I can probably use this here. That'll make an okay skin color. Maybe not with the metallic this time, maybe just the regular fill. So I'm just gonna fill in her skin color. A lot of this, I'm gonna have effects going over these details. So a lot of this isn't really going to have to be super perfect because she has this like electrified spark coming kind of from her magic area. So magic hands. So I'm not too worried about getting it perfect, but I do want to get it looking good, especially the shading in her skin. And for the shading in her skin, I'm going to go to the airbrush. My brush size up there a bit. Just kind of get some shading in here with the airbrush. Put on automatic for a second around the crowned area. And another cool thing about coloring the comic style is a lot of the shading and some of the coloring is kind of done for you, and it makes for a nice fun color session because you don't have to like do everything from scratch. Like her lips are already black here and they've already kind of have the mark on the lip, like the shine mark, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm just adding shading and highlights to the skin here. Oh, this airbrush makes kind of almost circles or something. So I'm going to go to, maybe I'll use the marker for the face. I'm not really digging the effect that's happening here, so I'm gonna go to the marker tool instead. I'm just playing with the skin tone colors to get my highlights kind of the way that I want them. It doesn't need to be perfect, but I am trying to get it blended nicely. And you can do that by just playing with the opacity and the brush size, of course. I'm just adding some more shading to like the collarbone area. When you add a little bit of shading, it just adds more dimension to your piece and a little bit more interest as well, right? When it's just a flat color, there's nothing really to the picture. I'm gonna try using watercolor for something for a second here. I just wanna see if I can get some, no, it doesn't look good. It's too sporadic. So back to the paintbrush it is. or the airbrush. Just want to get a little bit of blush in her cheekbones. Just kind of get that highlight a little bit deeper. And I'm just adding a little bit of almost makeup to her eye. I'm gonna highlight under the brow. Highlights and shading when it comes to any kind of skin, whether like comics are a little bit more simpler, I'll give it that. But when it comes, it all makes a difference though, like the shading and the highlighting. So I do recommend getting comfortable with that, getting comfortable with shading and highlighting your pieces. And that's all I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of going under the nose, touching things up a little bit, adding a little more of a highlight to the tip of the nose, a little bit of shading underneath, under the lip. And it just kind of gives, as you can see, a little bit something more to look at. A little bit more shading here. Kind of blend it out. Okay. Well, I guess this is part of her costume here. I'll just fill that in quickly since I already have the airbrush. I'll just use the airbrush. And you can use white, which I find is a really good tool. I like using a true white. That's not a true white. So we'll just go to our black and white palette down here. And if you use a true white, and you can use marker to do this, let's just use marker and I'll just bring my brush size down. If you use white, it just kind of adds a little bit more pop to your picture. You don't need to do a lot of it to get the desired effect. Really, you don't at all. Even that was too much. Just like a little dab even makes a difference, and it just kind of gives you that pop when you're looking at it from afar. So I'm just highlighting a little bit of white under the eyes. I'm gonna fill in the eyes and get them white too. And it just kind of makes that difference. Also do glitter to highlight. I would bring the opacity down quite low, the brush size up a bit, and if you want to add a little bit of glitter, you don't want it to be too standoffish. You just kind of want it to, you can see it, but it's not, it doesn't look too brash, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna go back to my airbrush here for a second in my red. I'm just gonna blend a little bit of it out. Just a little bit of it up. And a little bit of it out there. A little bit here. Maybe grab this black for a quick second. Add a little bit more eyeliner look to this. You can even add like a little wing if you want. So I'm sticking with the true colors of her outfit, but I am kind of adding some makeup embellishments, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go to that. Maybe just add a little bit of highlight to her forehead here. I love coloring skin. It's probably my favorite thing to color is portraits and skin. So I do spend a little bit of time on it to try and get it the way that I think it looks good. blend out this glitter a little bit here. Okay, so I think her skin is okay for now because I don't know how much of it we're even gonna lose when I go over top of it with all the effects and everything. So I don't wanna go overkill with it. I'm just gonna go to the brown and do her hair brown. I believe it's brown. Or we could switch it up and do blonde. What shall we do? She has a cape too. This is a cape that I got a color there. Maybe we'll just keep it simple and do it brown for today. I'm gonna use the metallic fill. You know what, scrap that. I'm just gonna use my marker. It's gonna take too long. So I just put on freehand mode and then I'm just gonna go and fill it all in. I just missed your ear here. I'll just color match that and just color in her ear. There. And if you want to add a little bit more kind of highlights to the hair, lower the opacity, grab a different color, lighter brown, or the same color but lighten it a little bit. Okay. Good. And then I'm gonna go to the red and I'm gonna go to the metallic fill. I'm just gonna fill in her cape. All these little cape areas here. Pretty sure this is her cape too, like stringy part or something. So I'll just fill this in so I can see what I'm doing. Sometimes it's hard to tell what is what when you're coloring this stuff because everything just kind of overlaps. So you kind of have to make judgment calls once in a while, and you know what? If it's not perfect, it doesn't have to be. It's your interpretation of the picture, so I would just go with it. Even right here. I'll just do this tan for now. Maybe just a regular fill here. I'll just do it tan for now, and then if I do some effects here, I'm sure that will change. I'm gonna take the time and just fill in these little areas because I don't want to color it in with just the marker tool this time. It's not really that many anyway. It's not too bad. And it's going to be the electric kind of pulse there. Okay, so we got the cape kind of filled in here. I'm gonna leave that white highlight on her pants, I think, because it looks kind of cool. Just gonna miss this little spot here. I missed some little spots. Okay. I'm going to actually grab the, what am I gonna grab? Maybe the glitter really quickly. I'm just gonna put a little glitter in her crown here. Even in her outfit, I might just kind of put a little bit of glitter. Her costume, when I kind of looked her up, because I wasn't 100% sure on her costume, it's kind of almost pinkish too. Kind of has like a pinkish kind of hue. So airbrush. And I'm just going to add a little bit of highlighting in the cape. And bring that opacity up. And I'm gonna go, this is the time where I'm gonna go get my true white. And I'm just gonna make sure it's on automatic. And I'm going to add some stark white highlights to this outfit here. And this is just going to kind of make like it almost look like it has a little bit of a shine, like there's light reflecting off it. Kind of like her pants. That's why I didn't want to touch her pants. And I might actually use a little bit of yellow with the laser tool. Just to kind of give the crown a little bit more interest. Make it kind of shine a little bit more. And I'm just going to go to the airbrush and just kind of touch up a couple areas over here, because I'm not quite sure what's going on over here, if it's hair or if it's part of the cape. A little bit confused, so I'm just going to go in and actually fill. I think it's hair. It looks almost like string. I'm just gonna leave it as hair. I'm just kind of adding a little bit of highlights to those spots I just kind of filled. I gotta fix this. I don't want that in the hair not right now anyway, maybe later, depending on what I do. Okay, and we'll go back down to this red, grab the bright red, and I'm just going to add a couple more highlights. I'm just gonna go automatic here. Freehand just to cover that little spot. I'm just kind of shading and highlighting the suit a little bit more before I move on to the effects. And I'm just using the marker tool to kind of accentuate some areas. And I find, like I've said it before, that the marker tool really works well for this. So if you want to practice with that, if you're into like the comic style, it's a really awesome tool. And you can mix it with, you don't have to just use that. You can mix it and match it with other things and you'll get really kind of interesting results. Okay, I think that's good for her for now. Now I'm going to do this like electric shock thing. I was thinking blue, because I think blue is very dramatic and kind of stands out nicely. So let's try the blue, but the yellow would be nice too. Let me see here. I think I'm gonna actually use the yellow for her. It just kind of goes with the motif of things. And I'm pretty sure this is yellow too. So I'm just gonna fill it all in yellow, just with a regular fill. And then I'm gonna add some effects to it after. Sometimes I have to really zoom in to get in these little smaller areas. Pretty sure this is all gonna be yellow. Can really kind of tell once you start, hold on here, color match, color match. A little bit too light, darker, it's good. I just noticed I missed a little area there. No worries, we got it taken care of. You can actually leave like some of the white in there. It's not gonna hurt any like little white areas. Actually kind of makes it shine a little bit. Or you could use a lighter yellow. Either or. It honestly doesn't matter because it's probably not even going to be noticeable once I add effects and stuff anyway. Okay, so we're gonna leave it yellow. I think it looks good with the crown. Then I can do like some yellow kind of sparks or something. So I'm going to grab, I think, the splatter tool. I'm gonna bring my opacity down and I'm gonna go to a lighter yellow. Gonna make sure I'm on automatic. Maybe bring up the opacity a bit, and I'm just gonna kind of get the splatter tool in here. And I'm just kind of putting it around the outer edge of the stuff as well as the explosion kind of is. And then I'm going to grab this really bright yellow and I'm going to go to my laser tool. My brush size is a little bit on the small side. Then I have my opacity all the way up. And I'm just gonna maybe a little bit more. I'm just gonna draw some really bright yellow lines through this kind of power that she has. And then maybe even highlight it on her hand a little bit. Bringing down the brush size to do the highlights on the hand. Certain spots, just so it doesn't look clumpy. Just gonna go around the outer edge here. Some of this stuff I won't be able to trace because it actually goes into black. That's okay. As long as I can get some of it glowing. See all here, I won't be able to. It's all kind of in the black. Just kind of adding that glow in here, trying to get it to look electric, or not electric, but kind of like it's on fire, or you know how it looks when they're using their powers. It's not usually really contained looking. It looks a little bit more wild. Just trying to get that little bit of a wild look to it. But at the same time, I want it to look somewhat put together, if that makes sense. Don't want to use all that, lose all that dark yellow. It does look good with the mix of the other one. Layering the sparks so they kind of look somewhat real. Put some random sparks up here and here. Just trying to layer it so it looks somewhat like a realistic kind of glow in a way. Can even add some of this highlight to her outfit, seeing how it's so close to her. So the light would be kind of reflecting in that way. So you can add a little bit on her outfit as well. Okay. And then just maybe I'll go with the red and just fill in these. A little bit of yellow to her face, just to kind of pick up the colors that are around her. Maybe a little bit up here. There. I think I like it just like that. And there we have it. That was a lot of fun to color. Thanks for joining me today, guys. This is Brienne from Pixite. Thanks again and have a great day. Bye, everybody.